Good evening. It is July 15th, 2015, and I took a little time off, and I was a bit overwhelmed. I found when I watched the last Ted Gundrsen video that I observed. I shared it on my Google Plus page, but that one really threw me for a loop because he said some things are the same stuff that they did to me. And, I say that I used to see myself as, say I was nobody from nowhere, and I still basically see myself that way. Even though I am the Lord's prophetess, yes I am, but I'm still just the same person I always was. Hold on, I'm feeling a little warm. Just wanted to aim the fan at me because I'm feeling a little warm. So, anyway, so I was watching that one video. I mean, his videos just really reach me because they sound, in a lot of ways, it could be just like me, but his are more detailed because he used to be, one of the top bananas at the FBI in various places, Dallas, California, and certain places. But his video's there for you to see. But some of the things that he said were just like exactly the same. They said he was paranoid, and they tried to say that about me. I don't have any of the characteristics of paranoia. Paranoia is when you fear something that doesn't exist or is not happening. I don't have that, and I don't even have fear. So, I mean, people who are paranoid don't ride a bicycle home from work at 1 o'clock in the morning. I know because I have a neighbor who has that affliction. And he said that they left a penny at the foot of his bed in his home, and they did that to me. And wait a minute, let me think. It was San Antonio that they left the penny, and they might have also done it in Port St. Lucie, but they left. I have it somewhere, and I hope I can find it and show you. But it's a little white and green stone. They left it on my bed in Port St. Lucie. And to hear him say they did that to him was so amazing. And I think there are a few more similarities, but I mean, it's exactly the same, Oh, and the affliction with cancer, well, he didn't say it, someone else said it regarding him, that they believed, allegedly, that he was poisoned with arsenic, causing his cancer that ultimately took his life. And then I ran on to Bill Cooper. I haven't listened to him real good yet. I had him on, but I heard a few of the things he said, but I was into something else, so I didn't really listen. But I'm going to listen to him. Oh my gosh. And both were, he was shot on his doorstep. So, does it scare me? Not a bit. Not a bit. No, it doesn't. I don't expect to be on this planet forever. But while I'm here, I'm going to be doing the Lord's work that was assigned to me. Now, the devil is coming at me full force right now because I have stopped talking to Dorothy, which was their #1 ally. That's the Jehovah's Witness. Vile creature. I'm sorry. Vile creature. Things that probably only the prophetess would see. Your ordinary everyday person just doing business, receiving a check, or saying hello or anything wouldn't pick that up. But you have to have the discernment of spirits, and she has to be envious of you. And you get a prophetess and a cultist together, you're gonna have clash, okay? And I did my best, but it was that little bit when our client went to the hospital, and I had to spend a little more time with her. Just that one day, and anyway, so I don't talk to her anymore, and that devil's really kicking up his heels, the bull is kicking. And so everything's cool with Andre. I mean, he's cool right now. I don't have any problems about him or complaints about him. Mostly he just inserts a word where it doesn't belong, which lets you know, I mean, a familiar word where it doesn't belong, whether that is part of an accusation or a threat from the enemy. That's basically all he does, and it's been kind of more minimal now, right now, at the moment. but he's all they've got. So what's happened is a lady that I love, I genuinely love her. I got to know her, and I really love her as a human being. And I knew all the while that she was allied with them, and she is also very good at it, but not in the same way. She does not have several evil spirits in her like this one does. And she doesn't claim to be religious or know the Bible. So, in fact, she probably states that she has never read it. But I love this woman. And so what they do is they, since we're not talking to Dorothy anymore, what they do, I hear someone talking outside the window. What they do is they'll plant her on the porch when they know I'm going that way, and they know that I need to vent to someone, so I will talk to her. And I did it again today. Next thing you know, I hear somebody repeating what I said to her. In this case, 2 people. And I'm seriously disappointed. I cannot tell you how disappointed I am, and I want to cry. Because when you think someone has good business ethics, no wonder my heart cried so fiercely when I found out my landlord was dying. I had an incident the other day where for a couple months now I've had like a little rope. Where is it? It's a little plastic rope. I brought it in here. Oh, here it is. Let me get it. Sorry, I keep running away. A little resistance band. And I had this part and this part attached to 2 trees, like a clothesline. Not two, yeah. And I just kind of slipped it over a branch or a nub or whatever you want to call it. But as you can see, it's no longer usable because the animals have been chewing on it and gnawing on it. And it's got a bunch of little holes on it, and it's barely existent anymore. I don't know if you can see that. See the holes in it? So, I just got a bug out of it. The holes in it. See? And so what happened was they gnawed on it so bad that a couple of days ago, I did laundry, and I love to hang out clothes because I love the fresh scent and everything. And so for a couple months I've been hanging them on this between 2 branches under the trees. You couldn't even see it. Sometimes I had to go out to make sure that it was still there. You couldn't see it. And I wasn't hiding it. It's just because that's where I found the branches. So I was heading over there the other day, and someone was leaving and saw me heading over that way. But what happened was I had some towels in my hand, and I put the towels on there to dry on this plastic resistance band, and it immediately broke. See this? I used to have one of these on it, and it broke off, and they immediately landed on the ground because of the gnawing. So I was unable to hang anything on it. So what I did is I found some sort of a rack, a big wooden thingy. It was actually part of my old bed frame that I took down. And thinking that because the office was closed, that it wouldn't really be a big deal because nobody's going to be coming to the office, I put it out in front of my window along with my lawn chair, and I hung clothes on it. And that was my stupid bad because it does still have a company, a business name on it and everything, and it appears as though it's a office building and not a home. So that was my bad, but that's okay. I will apologize for that. But what hurts me and what really, really upsets me is that the office manager knocked on the door, and I didn't answer because I thought it was Dorothy. It was just a little tap. And so I waited a couple of minutes, and I opened the door, and I found a note on it. And I opened the note, and I'm like, okay, what's this now? Because I know the devil's really riled up right now. And not because they're bad, but because they're not saved. I never know who's going to, So, anyway, so I get this notice on the door, and it says that somebody, it was brought to their attention that I was hanging clothes from the trees and the windows. That's just so false. I did not hang anything from the trees and the windows. I had it on a rope between 2 branches under the leaves. You couldn't even see it. And that day I didn't have anything hung there because it fell down. And I didn't have anything hung from my window. I had it on a rack in front of the window. And so this was a completely false report. And then my neighbor told me, another neighbor told me that they saw Dorothy out there wandering around like she was looking for something. So it's very possible that this story came from Dorothy. I don't know. I'm not into false accusations like some people, but yeah, it was completely false. I had stuff in front of the window, not hanging from the window or from the trees. And that really hurts me because I really, I was so impressed with this when I came here. I mean, I felt like they were such good business, honest business people. And I was so pleased that, you know, that's the way they were. And then I was disappointed today. And somebody, you know, it was even alleged that somebody rode by here and made this and saw this. And that is completely false because this person, I don't believe, did this. I think they just kind of made it more cemented it a little bit more by using this person's name. And I really, really detest that. That is wrong. I make an apology, but they owe me an apology as well for the faults, for the just accusing me and not asking me, you know what I mean? And saying that somebody saw me who somebody saw it who I know didn't say that, because it would be an outright lie. So I'm really distressed about that. But I have to be smart, and just because I love this woman up the street, she's an elderly lady, and it's different from the cultist, and she's not overloaded with a legion of demons. And I just love her. I love her personality. If they hadn't alienated her, we could have been really good friends, and would have. So that's it. And that's really my distress right now. And I'm so disappointed. But, you know, I knew I was transitioning. I knew I was moving forward. So I'm not surprised. I'm getting ready to move into my house that the devil tried to steal from me, and take over my possessions and open up my Father's table, where many, 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 many trillions of people for the rest of my life and the team's life will be served and taken care of. And the devil will fight like crazy, because that's not what he wants. He wants to destroy people. So here we go. Let me see. Yeah, suddenly people keep asking if I spoke to Dorothy, because, you know, they had her call me this morning for no legitimate reason. I will not talk to that woman again, ever. Especially after this false report. Anyway, so this is nothing new or unusual. It's just new and unusual here. Since I've been here almost 3 years, this is the first problem that I've had, and it just happened to occur when I stopped talking to her. And of course, I have stated that my original landlord passed, so it doesn't involve him. He was awesome and amazing and absolutely stunning, and I so do love him, and I'm grateful that I met him, and I still miss him sometimes. So yeah, he was good people. And, you know, he said that when I first met him, one of the things he said was that what was most important to him was his relationship with his tenants and his business relationships. So that was more important to him than, you know, other things. So I forget what the topic was at the time, but anyway, so I have to vent. And to vent with Shirley is cool, and I love her, and she's sort of this way and sort of that way, but they have to, if they want to talk to me, they have to stick in something. And you know, afterward I was thinking about it, and I really had to dig for it. It just popped in my head, and I'm like, oh. She said that some people aren't happy with what they have because of what other people have, and that would not apply to me, because I am wealthy, and I've been living poor for several years since I became wealthy, because I'm waiting on the Lord. So that is not someone that is unappreciative, and because I was so grateful every morning, I was blessed with the name Graciana, or Graciana, however you prefer to pronounce it, in place of bitterness, which is the meaning of Mary. So I am very grateful and I am very happy and I'm very thankful, but we are transitioning. So those of you who pray, please pray, not for just for me, but for the team, because this is going to affect trillions of people, I'm sure, in the end. And oh, Lord have mercy. And I thank you, Lord, for Ted. And I'm not sure about this new one because I haven't actually listened to him, so I can't say anything too much. But what little I heard sounded really like similar. So, like dying for the truth. But Ted, if he's got family and loved ones out there, he is an angel. He is an angel, and he is still blessing people. I just want you to know that. And that's pretty much it for now. I just really needed to let that out. And, you know, since all their allies do watch these videos, so we'll see what happens. But I am going to make my apology for what I did do, which was nothing like what was in the letter. I didn't have anything hanging off windows or doors, trees, but I did inappropriately have stuff out in front of my windows, on racks and on a chair drying. So I should do it out in the back. And I was planning to ask him if I ordered a little rack to hang clothes on a hanger to dry them. And I'm planning to ask if I can put it in the back of the building where no one will see it. But after this video, I don't know. So, and just Dorothy had her curtains hanging on hangers out on chairs on the side of the building over here today. Just wanted to make a note of that. So anyway, it hurts. It does hurt. And when something hurts, you say ow, which is what I'm doing. You don't hold it in, because that's how angry people are born. And I refuse to become an angry person. So I'm not going to let that happen. So I am transitioning. As I said, I've saw it coming for a long time. Because it's time. It's time. You know, nobody's getting saved. Nobody's hearing the message. I'm not in my house. My Father's table is not open yet. People are not being blessed. And the enemy just begs every day and makes excuses for why it's okay for them to steal. And it's not. So every plot, plan, scheme, and scam is hereby canceled in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. I bind you, Satan, in the name of Jesus. And brethren, stand firm. Stay strong in the faith. And, you know, it's not going to be an easy ride to the end. You know, devil's running rampant out there. But if we could only stick together. The thing about a prophet or prophetess is, especially when you're under this level of attack, people tend to protect, you know, themselves and their families. And so you tend to stand alone. I mean, look at David. He had to hide in the clefts of the rocks. And so it's not unusual, but it is extremely difficult, especially when people, like I've been beheaded by the feds, and people see someone else other than the exact opposite of who I am when they look at me, and I tell the truth and I'm accused of lying when the liar is assumed to be telling the truth. So much that they put it in writing and put somebody else's name in there. You know, that is so bad. That is so freaking bad. And I am so disappointed. But I love you anyway, and I forgive you. And I am going to apologize. And I hope that you'll have the good conscience and the character to do the same. So anyway, Jesus is Lord. Get right with God. We're in the last days. And my gosh, when I hear the predictions, one thing I did hear was Bill Cooper. I'm probably going to share his videos too, or at least one of them, so you can know how to look it up. He predicted what's happening right now, and it was like 1996, I think. And he was pretty amazing. And he was an insider also, like Ted Gundrsen. He worked in some level of government authority, and then didn't. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up dead because of his truth. But if you die in the truth, guess what? You go straight to the Lord, and there's no better place, because let me tell you something. This world ain't pretty, folks. If you're a believer and you have the Holy Spirit in your heart and you care about other people, this ain't a pretty sight anymore. This ain't. And, you know, something came to me today, and I agree wholeheartedly. I'm sorry to those who feel offended by it. But peeps, there is no America. There is no America. The things that are being permitted right now and applauded and are not American. They're not American. We used to be one nation under God, and now God is like, get the heck out of here, God, because you're outdated, and these other spirits are tops with me, okay? You know, I'm serious. That's where we're at, and anyway, so just pray for me to get into my house so we can get this distribution center open and get people blessed. Instead of, you know what? Here's the key. Here's the big deal. The thieves and the liars, they're still not happy. But when we bless people at my Father's table who have needs and who are grateful to God for it, they will be happy, okay? These people are not happy no matter what they get. They are not happy unless they destroy something, or they take somebody's something, their personality, their character, their finances, their something. Anything and everything they can get their grubby hands on. And then they're still miserable. I know, because they're still stalking me. And they're still, every day I hear the same things. Every day. You know, people tell me I did things I didn't do. Let's see. Here's the thing. I had to do to myself. I had to pray for the blessing that, for snowflake mind, where things hit, and then if it's a false accusation or if it's a threat, it just melts like snowflake on a hot pavement. And you know, right now they're saying fraud, and they're saying, I can't remember the other words because that's how it works. It's because I was talking and I didn't stop. They're saying narrative. Oh, narrative. Yeah. So that, I guess those are accusations or threats. I'm not sure. We'll find out, because the narrative thing involves my denture, because I can't, you see, I've been toothless on the bottom since January, and these are crooked, and then I could show the whole gig, but there's a fingerprint on here, and you know, this one's over here, and they're miscentered, and they go way too back in my mouth, which occasionally does cause a gag, and at times does cause a gag reflex. So especially if I have an upset stomach. But anyway, so you know, those are the. But you know, when it comes to the embezzlement, I constantly hear, you know, lobster claw, which of course was their girl. They even threatened to let her out of prison early to do their bidding when she went to prison after I moved away. Okay, here's what happened, because that might be confusing. She was living at Martin County's pet pedophile's house, Harold. There was a girl named Paula who has since passed, and I think that they got rid of her too because she kept slipping and naming the FBI. And anyway, she overdosed, and but she had the mind of a child. She was like a little girl, and she ran into the lobster claw, Susan, and Susan had a fight with her female lover. She was going with a guy, and she broke up with him for her sister, and then she was fighting with the sister, and so Paula brought her home to Harold's house, where everybody lands. And so what does Susan do? She ends up getting Paula out and moving in with Paula's boyfriend, the drug dealer, in the pink room. So, but Paula went to her friends and whatever, but she ended up dead, and that was very sad. But Susan had nothing to do with me, so they keep saying that allegedly, and that's the lobster cloud. That's her identifying cloud, because for a little minute she worked at Red Lobster in Florida. So they keep saying Red Lobster, which means that Red Lobster is the embezzler, is allegedly what they're saying. All statements in this video are alleged, unless I say God said. So if Susan Ruppert is the embezzler, I didn't even know what I had, okay? I did not know until I left Florida, where I was kept in constant mental anguish by the harlot stalkers and the brain thingy and people calling me all night at QVC. Fed's calling me all night at QVC, and Popo, sorry, I like it because it's cute, but corrupt police officers hanging their heads out windows and yelling things out to me, and I would just go, "We don't want no screws," because it was the guy on the passenger side. Anyway, so anyway, they just said evicted. So whatever, you know, whatever you gotta do, do. You know what I mean? I'm ready to move forward because I've had enough of the BS. You know, there's nobody here that. Yeah, anyway, whatever. It's time to move into my house, so, you know, go for it. I'll be landing right on Stephen Diamond's doorstep, and I will be taken back what the devil stole from me. I'm very patient because I'm not greedy and I'm not a gold digger, and so I can wait patiently for the Lord to do what he needs to do, and I thank God for Harold, who I love dearly. Not Harold. They used to call him Harold. My client, who I love dearly, and I'm glad that I was able to help him, and we will take care of him for free at my father's table, and because he has no local family, and we will love him as though he were our family. So that's where we're going, folks, and so do what you gotta do. So and you know, if they're not saying lobster claw, they're saying signed it, and I'm like, you know, if somebody signed something, you don't have to tell them they signed it. They know they signed it, and I signed nothing. So, and then there's the we're married. So I don't know who's married, but I'm not. I haven't been married since 1989 when my husband went to be with the Lord. So I've been single since then. I haven't even been in a serious relationship, okay? So anyway, I feel better already. So, you know, to the enemies, just go ahead and make all the thoughts you want and follow through, whatever you got to do, because you can't do anything without my Father's approval. And if he gives the approval, then it's time. Okay? Bye. Hey, I'm sorry. Thanks, everybody, for listening, for those who do. And I really sincerely love you. And it's getting old. Remember, it's been 11 years and 9 months of this. 11 years and 9 months. And it was totally worse in Florida. You know, it gets a little bit less and a little bit less. And the more I talk about it publicly and the more I put out there, the less it gets. So it's been reasonably quiet. They just mostly try to give me mine. And that gets old, you know. It's not yours, or you wouldn't be telling me, because you wouldn't even be bothering me or stalking me. You would just be living your life, you know. You wouldn't have to tell me these things. You wouldn't have to say these things to me, because that doesn't make sense, right? If you own something, it's legitimately yours, and you're living your life. Why would you be stalking me and telling me what you claim you own? I don't get that. So it doesn't make any sense. Like, the devil never makes sense. So thank you, y'all. Chill, Mary, chill. Anyway, may everyone be blessed according to the thoughts and intents of their hearts. And for those of you who aren't saved, please reach for Jesus, because time is short. The time is very, very short. And if you think it's difficult for Christians right now, hell's going to be gazillion times worse. And that's eternal. This is temporary. You know, I know there is an end. Even if they wanted to continue doing this for the rest of my life is on this earth. I'm going to be moving up to heaven. You know what I'm saying? This is not my home. This is a temporary situation, you know. And so it's going to end, but hell does not end. Hell is eternal torment. Okay? It's not a joke. There's not going to be any parties. There's not going to be any groups down there. It's going to be complete solitude and lack. And if you think you're something now, ask the rich man Lazarus, who would not help. Was it? Or was it Lazarus, the name of the guy? Anyway. The rich man who would not help the poor man when they were on earth, and the poor man went to heaven, and the rich man went to hell, and he was begging just for a drop of water. Please tell my family. You know what I mean? So think twice and be nice. And if it's not your business, stay out of it, because the devil is a liar, and he makes things look real. In case you haven't ever been to Hollywood, things do look real in the movies, right? But it doesn't mean that they are. So editing, superimposing, yada yada, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Okay, may everybody be blessed according to the thoughts and the intents of their hearts. This is Prophetess Gratiana signing off.